Hi guys, welcome to Charities Baba. You say your number one channel. I'm here. It's another time that I want to do a new video. I know my last video I promised. I think my second last video I promised to do a Q&A, of which that's what I'm going to talk about today. But before that, I want to thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. I want to thank you for listening and always for commenting. I don't take that for granted, guys. Sometimes you might see that maybe I've taken a little bit of time to like your comment or maybe to do a reply. But right now I am in the school mode, guys. I'm in the school mode. And the school mode, I'm trying to get into a certain schedule whereby I can balance all that's happening around me. But I thank you guys. I don't take it for granted for supporting my YouTube channel. We are remaining 16 people to be 9,000, guys. I do appreciate you. Each and every person who watches this channel feel important, feel appreciated, guys. Today I want to talk about a few questions, but I want to welcome the new members who have joined my YouTube channel. My name is Charity Nganga. For those who do not know me, I live here in the US and I came here with the DV lottery, guys, and I am a US citizen. I always had that one, you know what I mean? So, and I've seen a lot of interest in the DV lottery. And that's why I always feel like I want to talk about it, because when we won our DV lottery, it was a little bit different. There were no YouTube channels talking about the DV lottery. Like we were kind of lost. And that is why you find that I would maybe meet someone and they would tell you this and this and this and this. So I decided to open my YouTube channel just to give just a guidance, you know what I mean? And just to help you to know where you can go and get the right information, especially if you want to apply for the DV lottery, or how to go about the process, because there's a website, travel.state.gov. You go and read all the information there. By the time we were winning our DV lottery, we didn't know all that information. Actually, we had so many challenges, which I have talked about in my previous videos. I think I've uploaded over 200 videos in my YouTube channel. So go there and find them, because there's a lot of information that I have talked about. Now, before I go to questions, I want to talk about something that I was reading on the internet and I was shocked. I was reading about this story about this lady who had gone to work in the Middle East, and she was saving some money, and she was sending it to her daughter so that maybe she could retire. And she's a very young woman, I think 42, and maybe start a life. And what I want to say is that it broke my heart, because the generation that is coming up nowadays is very, very, very different. I don't know if the times that are changing, or if it's the parents who have failed, or what's going on. But I think our young people have lost some guidance. They have lost their way. Because I remember when I was younger, actually, before I even like matured, I remember I was in high school. I remember my mom was single, and I used to go to work. I had to work, during the holidays, help my mom with everything. And I do remember being paid very little wages. We used to work for this guy, and we were paid like 70 shillings in a day, because I had to work throughout my high school so that I could help my mom. And I remember even when I was paid at the end of the week, I couldn't even touch a cent. I would take all that money and take it to my mom. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder, where did those times go, whereby the kids were very honest and they looked up to their parents. And if you were given something, maybe you were sent to the shop and you had change, even if it's a shilling, you take it back. Because I read that story and I felt so sad, because that woman went home with hope that she was going to start a new life. And living abroad, guys, it can be very, very, very hard, especially if you're going to live abroad and you don't have maybe the right documentation, or you went there specifically to go and work, make something better, and then go back to your country, because you don't have so much freedom when you are in a foreign country. It's very different. It's not like here when you are in the US, whereby you come with a green card, you are assured of a job, you are assured that you can go to school and you are comfortable. It's a little bit different. So I just felt like I would talk about that, because I felt like it touched me. I was like, what's happening to our generation? Because when I read the story, that girl was just using the money on friends or whatever. But I think it's a topic that can be talked about on maybe, are the parents doing the right thing, or are the kids who are not listening, or what's going on? Because I do remember when we were growing up, we grew up in a very, very different environment, very, very, very different environment. And that is not what I see today in the society. So I think prayer and talking to our children, and are not as a parent, not trusting and trusting especially our upcoming young youth with everything that you got, because their mind is still not mature enough. Their mind still needs, a little bit of help, until they grow up, so that we can know where are the boundaries. What can I trust my child with? Can I entrust my child with my life? You know what I mean? Can I entrust my child with whatever? So those are some of the things that need to be talked about. But that's something, it's just digressing. It's a by the way, guys. And it's something worth talking about, guys. So today I'm going to talk about some of the questions that you guys have asked. And if I haven't talked about your question, kindly retype it there, because I know that I am behind. I like to talk about what's going on in my life. And I know that there are some questions that I haven't reached out. But most of them, when I read them, and it's a question, most of the time it's in my videos. So if you go back and start from the beginning, you will see those videos. They are there. They are there. So I'm going to touch on a little bit of some questions that you have asked, and continue asking the questions. Like I said, I do have a plan whereby I'm going to be doing most of my videos in transit, especially when I'm going to school, or when I'm going anywhere, so that like I don't have a burden. And remember, if you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, kindly consider subscribing. Always reach out. The people who reach out to me, it doesn't matter. I still answer their questions. I do reach out to people. I talk to people. I like to hear what people are saying. And I know that at the DV lottery this year, it was applied by very many people. And I think I can see the interest that people are having. Now, there was this question about joining the military. Someone was asking, how do they join the military when they come to the US? Now, when you come to the US, let's assume you have come in as a DV lottery winner, or maybe you have come in as a student. Now, you find that when you come in as a student and you go to school, you normally have to go to the school to ask for those resources so that they can advise you accordingly on how, if you are interested in joining the military. They normally will tell you what to do or where to go. But when you come with a DV lottery, it's a little bit different, because, and I do remember that when we came in, Francis wanted to join the military. And there's offices here, like here in Wichita, you do have a local office whereby you go and you enroll yourself. Of course, you're going to do some tests. Maybe they'll give you some English, math, whatever. And then if you qualify, they will give you a job, because it's a job. It's a job to be in the military, and then you go from there. Another thing, if you come and you have kids and they want to join the military, normally they are told about that information when they are in the high school. And if they want to enlist, they normally enlist. So that information is there. It's not like a big process whereby, I remember in Kenya, when people wanted to go and join the military, it was a big process. I think you had to go and run. You had to have a certain physique. And of course, there was a lot, there was some corruption involved, because you would find that there are some people, they were told that they did not qualify, but you look at it, you're like, why didn't this person qualify? Or maybe you didn't know somewhere. But here it's a little bit different. You find that you just go and apply. It's just like a job, and then they will give you the steps. So it's not very hard, especially when you have come in with the DV lottery. It's going to be very, very easy for you, because those resources are there. And like I told you, when you come in with the DV lottery, at the entrance, at the port of entry, where you're going to give your envelope. Remember, when you go for your interview, you're given a yellow envelope that you cannot open. There's a book that a booklet that is normally there, and they give you that says "Welcome to America." It has so many resources that you can read about. It tells you so many things that you can do. It's like a guide. And I know most people, maybe they don't read it, or maybe most people, they just put it in the bag and you forget about it. But that's where you get resources, because when you come here in the US, you find that most of the things you have to find them out for yourselves. You will find, like, it's very, very rare to find someone who is going to guide you A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Yes, someone is going to guide you to the basics, but most of the things you have to be proactive and find out for yourself, because this is like, I would say it's like individualism. Even when you have a baby, when you have a baby here in the US, that baby has their own social. You have your own social. Everybody has their own life. So you kind of tend to read a lot, try to find out information. Sometimes you have to walk in. And right now here in the US, it's a little bit easier, because you can make a phone call and inquire, you can write a letter, anything. and you're going to get all that information. So it's not very hard, guys. So when you come and your mind is set that you want to join the military, unless maybe you are over 40 or maybe whatever, I think the age limit is like 35. I think it's around that age that you can go. But of course, when you are a male and maybe if there is an emergency or anything, I know that people can enlist, especially if there's, when there's war, like everybody will go to war and all that stuff. And it's very beneficial. You find that when you join the military, what happens is that before you go and become like a military person 100%, if you had come with a DV lottery, normally you will become a citizen before you graduate. So it's a plus. You can become a citizen before you graduate. So that's something that when you come in the US, like you just look at those resources and you can find them. Now, there's another one about the DV lottery photo, and I have talked about this DV lottery photo. Guys, that photo has to be right. I did a video, exclusive video about the DV lottery photo. Guys, I need you to watch that. I need you to go even to the website, because I've stated the website there, and go and read their instructions, because they want that photo in a certain way. They want a certain background. They want if let's assume they don't want you to wear stuff that you don't wear. For example, if you want to put on a hat or whatever, you're not supposed to do that unless maybe it's something that's religious, and that there is a way that you're supposed to look at the camera. You have to look at it direct. Of course, your ears have to be seen, like your whole self, and it has to be like up to here. There's a measurement, it's a 2x2. So you have to follow those instructions, because you don't want to be disqualified because you didn't take the right photo. So pay attention to that. The photo is very, very important. And you find that before the DV lottery, like it's open, before it's open, they normally make an announcement when it's getting opened. And they normally tell you the instructions, like what to do. And of course, they tell you the website to go to. And at the same time, they tell you that you should not pay anybody for the DV lottery application and anything. You go, you do application, you can do it for yourself. I've talked about doing it to yourself. I remember I did a video the day that the DV lottery opened, and that video, like it was amazing. It was watched by more than 50,000 people. And if you follow that process, and I'm going to do more consecutive videos about that, because I know that people are yearning, they are yearning to know about this information. So I need you guys to read. Do not listen. Because you find that I even meet some people who have won DV lottery, and because they were listening to other people who are telling me, do this, do this, do this, they end up, when they come here, they're like, no, it's not like that. You know what I mean? So it's very, very important to find out information from the right source. So I hope that we can be able to do that. Now, there's another person who was talking about the visa bulletin. What is a visa bulletin? A visa bulletin is information that comes out on the travel.state.gov website that ranges the case numbers that are going, that they are current, or that are being processed in the embassy of wherever you are, whichever country you are, and it comes out every month. So when I say visa bulletin, like the one that I read last, I think we even have a new one that I should do a video on. So when you go to the visa bulletin, you normally, when you win your DV lottery, there's a case number, guys, that you have won. So that case number, look at it and look at the range. If it's 20,000, if it's 30,000 or whatever, look at the range of the current number that is in the visa bulletin. And that is how you can anticipate that if this is the number that is current, if this is the number that is current, and this is my case number, maybe I will be going to the interview at this month. It just gives you an estimate. It doesn't tell you that whatever. No, it tells you. Maybe you should be expecting to get your 2NL, or maybe you should expecting to go to the embassy. So that's how it works, guys. So it's just information to keep you up to date. It's good to talk about, because we didn't know about the visa bulletin, and I know it has been there for so many years. I've been here in the US for 8 years now, and when we were coming in, we didn't know all this information, guys. So I know that I am talking to someone right now who wants to know, like, what do you do it, how do you do it, or what happens. So guys, I need you to go back to my channel and look at those videos so that you can learn more about the DV lottery and about life in the US and how you can be successful. I also talk about success, because you find that you can come here in the US and you end up even not like you. People are like you. They wish that you didn't come because you didn't help yourself, because there are ways you know that you can be successful, and there are ways that you cannot be successful. If you watch the videos that I've done with Francis, most of them we talk about success in the US. So go watch out those ones if you haven't, and you get more information. We learn by listening, we learn by, you know, watching these YouTube videos. They help, they do help, guys. Now, what is the process of admitting children in school? Now, like I'm living with someone, with a DB lottery winner right now. I'm hosting them, and she should, I think very soon she's going to come in and tell us how she's going, what's going on in her life. She's doing very well, guys. Anne is doing very, very well. Her daughter is in school. So what's the process? Because there was a question about the process of admitting kids to the school. Actually, there is no process, guys. There is no process. Normally, what happens, you go to the website, it depends on where you are living. The area that you are living is called a district. So if you go to your host, now like when Anne came to me, I have my district where my kids go to school. You just go online and you give the information of your child, you fill out a form, they ask you about the date of birth and all that. It walks you through on what to do the application, and then you send it. When you send it, they're going to email you. They tell you this is the day that maybe you can take your child to school. If they want additional information, you have to take additional information. And most of the time, what they require is immunizations, because, and remember, you have your immunization. Remember when you were coming in, you went to the IOM, they did your vaccinations. That is the, you know, the paperwork that you're going to take there. And that's it. And then your child is admitted to school. It's not a big process. It's a very, very easy process. And they don't ask for a referral. It's not like college, whereby if you are coming from a certain college and you want to change your transcript. No. For the kids in primary school, you just go and you are admitted. And of course, especially the people who are coming from Africa, they kind of give you a special thing. Because I do remember when we took Aunt's daughter to the school, it was so cool. And, you know, I really liked it because they knew, you know, when you tell you come from Kenya and all that, they knew that, you know, the main language that's spoken there is Swahili. So I do remember when we went to the class, she had a little laptop that was interpreting, you know, what's going on. There's the English laptop, and there's that one that is, you know, that's talking, interpreting for her in Swahili, so that they can gauge and know what does this child know, because they want to help. They want to help your child to be successful. So those are some of the things that you might see when you take your child to school, which is really, really good. And you get, you know, you feel at home, you find people who are, they love their job, they're smiling and all that. Then that's what, you know, the attitude that you're getting there, you feel like you are important and you're needed. So it's not a big process, guys, to do the application. You just go online, and the host that you're living with is gonna guide you. That's why I told you guys you need a host. You know, there were some people who were asking me, oh, if I win my DV lottery, can I send you money, rent me a house and all that? No, you need a host. Like, you really need a host, guys, when you come to the DV lottery. And remember, there was another question about the I-34. That is the form that the affidavit that your host is gonna sign to say, or to tell, or to show like support, like when they host you, that they are able to. You find that that form, I think I've done a video on the form I-34. I need to go back and look at my videos, but I know that I have done one. It is very self-explanatory, whereby there is where the host fills out their information, and there is where you fill out your information. And the person who has won the DV lottery, they don't even have much to fill out, because you just fill out your name and all that stuff. But the host will fill out more, because they will fill out their income, they're going to fill out their name, they're going to fill out a lot of stuff for you. And of course, they're going to give some proof of that income to show that they are able to support you. And you find that that's information that you discuss with your host. And since that form is downloaded online, someone who has lived in here in the US, because I remember I downloaded mine, I filled it out, and then I sent it to Anne. I do remember filling out all the stuff, and then she just needed to fill out a little bit. And I just marked where she needed to fill out, and that was it. So that's not something that you should worry you about, especially in the form I-134, because that one has to be filled out by a person who is a US citizen or a US permanent resident. And they know, because when you come here, you get to understand those terms, guys. So that form I-34, don't worry about it so much. But if you're really, really worried about it, go back to my videos and you are going to find it. I've talked about that. Now, there's a mother, and she's not married, she's single, and she has a baby. How does she go back about it? I need you to go and watch the video that I did with Anne. I think it's right now it's on top of my timeline. Go watch that video because she's single, she has a child. How did she go about it? Because it was very, very easy. She talked about that. So go watch out that video. Now, there's also another person here who's talking about education level when they're filling out their DS 260. Now, when you're talking about your education level, you normally start with the highest. So let's assume you are in university or you are in college. You start with the highest education, and then maybe you will list your high school education, and then your primary education is going to be the lowest. So you normally start with where you are at that point, but it's good to list out every institution that you have gone to if they require that information on your DS260, because the DS260, basically, when you talk about it, it just gives more information about you. They want to know more. Because when you filled out the DV lottery, you just gave your name and your date of birth, and that's it. But the DS260 really explains who you are. So start with the highest, going to the lowest. Another one was telling me that they want the DV lottery, but they do not have high school education, but they do have experience for 10 years for a certain kind of job. I don't remember very well that question, but it was there. But guys, there are some jobs that qualify. There are jobs that qualify when you win the DV lottery. And I'm going to pin that video here specifically. I think I'm going to pin it at 21. Right now, I'm at 21 minutes, 15 seconds. I'm going to pin that video at exactly 21 minutes so that you guys can see. Because there are job levels that qualify and there are job levels that do not qualify. And when I looked at that website, it's called o.net, you find that most of the things that they state there, most people, they have either a degree or it's a certain specialty or whatever. So I find it like kind of discriminative, but that is how it is. But you find that you can win the DV lottery, and if you do not qualify with the job qualification that they want, and you don't have your high school diploma, that can be a basis of them denying you the visa. So what can you do? What you can do is that if you have a spouse, then you can, and your spouse has gone to high school, then you can use your spouse as a primary applicant, and then you become the second applicant. You can do that. But you find that there are those jobs that qualify, and most of them, and I think for the sake of the new members, I'm still going to go back and try and see if I can do that video so that you guys can see what qualifies. Because you normally have just to enter, I'm a hairdresser, I'm a whatever. And then you know exactly if that job can qualify. So that was a very, very good question. Then the last question that I'm talking about is the biological father consent. Now, this biological father consent. Now, and this is with all due respect, but I know like the African way does not hold men very responsible, especially when they abandon their kids or they abandon their families. Here in the US, it's a little bit different because here, it doesn't matter whether even if you are a 15-year-old and you have sired a child, or you have decided that you want to get a child, or you have made a girl pregnant, you are responsible. Actually, you are made responsible. You are supposed to pay child support. And sometimes if you don't, you will be in trouble, so much trouble. You're supposed to be in the life of that child because you chose, it's all about choice. Like life in the US here is all about choice, because if you chose to have a child, then you have to take care of it. But I know that the African way is a little bit different. We have deadbeat dads who really don't care. We have those men who their work is just to have kids, and they really don't care what's going on with those kids. Now this one is saying that they had a child, but they don't know. I don't know whether they know where the dad is or whatever, but they are married. They are in a marriage, and in that marriage, they have a husband, but that child does not belong to that husband. But the question is, where is that man? You know what I mean? Where is that man that is responsible for that child? That is the first question that I would ask myself. And if I was single and I got married with a child, of course, you just go to a lawyer and you get a paper and some document to say that you're the sole parent of that child, so that you don't have so much conflict. You can do that if you're so much worried about that man. There was another lady who was telling me, oh, I have kids, and I know that guy doesn't help me and all that. And if I won a DV lottery, he's the kind of person who would go to the embassy and say that I shouldn't come, and that person doesn't help. That person, like, sometimes you just say like, shame on that person, because if you give birth to a child, you don't help out with that child, and if you hear that someone has won a DV lottery and you're going to the embassy to say that that person cannot travel with your child, and you don't take care of that child, that is wrong. That's very, very wrong. But what I would do, if there is some certain person like that, I would get some documentation to say that this person, something from an affidavit. An affidavit has to come from a lawyer or a court, regardless of if they are your next door neighbor. You have to have a court document that says that that person, yes, you have to acknowledge it, because you can't change the fact that someone's died. But if you have a document that says, yes, he is there, but he doesn't help, he's not in the life of my child, that's it. Capiche? They cannot interfere with whatever is going on. But the problem is, if you go by word of mouth, excuse me, if you go by word of mouth, most of the time they are not going to listen to you. But if you have documentation that you can stand in court and say, yes, I'm not saying that that is not the dad. Yes, they are, but they do not help with any way. The court will listen. The people in the embassy, they see that this is a valid document, and they're gonna, that person is not gonna go and start whatever. Because I know there are some people who are very revengeful. They do not want to see other people succeeding, and they might do that. So it's all about covering yourself. And even when you come here to live in the US, it's always gonna be about covering yourself up. Like, for example, I am a nurse, and when I go to treat my patients, if I do something to my patient, maybe I've done this and this and this, and I was supposed to be doing it, I have to document that I did it. You have to document what you did. Otherwise, if you don't document it, then it was not done. So that means that if you don't have a documentation showing that you're the sole parent of that child, nobody is going to believe you. But if you have documentation, even if that person went and they went to say whatever, they cannot overturn that. You know what I mean? So it's very, very important. Some of these things we have to be very wise when you're doing them, because the African way is different. It's very, very different. And I think one of the things that I see different in the US, and I see the different in Africa, is that there's a lot of stuff that you're going to learn. You're going to learn that you are even to be appreciated, even as a human being or as a woman. And you're going to learn that you still have a say in something. That does not mean that when you come to the US, then you should disrespect your husband and all that. No, it doesn't mean that. But it means that you count. Everybody counts. Everybody has a seat in the dining table. What does that mean? That every word counts. Every member of that marriage institution is supposed to be listened to. So you should not be intimidated by a man who left you pregnant, and you have been taking care of that child, and because you won the DV lottery, you're scared that they're going to go to the embassy and say, oh, no, cover yourself up. Cover yourself. Have some documentation showing, yes, he's the father of this child, but he's a deadbeat dad. You know what I mean? And that's how it works. So you should not be worried about something like that, guys. So I think I have talked about several questions, and I'm going to talk about more. Continue asking questions. Continue subscribing to my YouTube channel. Continue liking my video, guys. Liking, making a comment. That helps the video to be seen in many places. Another thing that I want to end with, my son has opened a YouTube channel, and it's very, very new. If you type the word RI, I think I should type it here. Let me see if I am able to type it here. Let me see if I'm able to. It's not going to let me because I'm not live. But it's called Ricochet. RICHYSHEY. If you type that, and he's looking for subscribers. So guys, I'm making a shout out for my son. Guys, go subscribe to his YouTube channel. Support him. He talks about so many things about self-improvement. He talks about that, and it's helpful as a young person. It's very, very helpful even to listen to what he is saying, because, I normally just listen and I'm like, oh my gosh, this boy is going to go places. So guys, please support him in his YouTube channel. I want to see him grow, and I know it's something that he can do. So guys, I hope and wish you all the best, especially those who are processing their DV lottery, the people who are waiting and anticipating. And another thing that I want to talk about before I close is, if you have applied for your DV lottery, I don't want you to make any changes in your life. Don't go to process your affidavit. Don't go to look for a good conduct. Don't do that, guys. I need you to wait until you have won your DV lottery. That is when you will start thinking about those things. Because remember, it's a lottery. You can either win or lose. So what's the point of using money whether you don't know whether you're going to win or not? So guys, I need you to be wary of that and be patient. The DV lottery is going to be announced very soon in May. You know, January is almost ending. Today is the 22nd. You know, I can't imagine it's the 22nd. January is almost over. So guys, I wish you all the best in whatever that you're doing. Keep on doing your best in your life. Keep on taking care of your families. Keep on being good parents. And until next time, thank you and God bless you.